at Century City Shopping Center. Around 10 p.m., Jose and Kitty were settled in the family room watching a James Bond movie, The Spy Who Loved Me, on a big screen TV. It was the housekeeper's night off, and they were spending a rare evening alone. People close to the family said the couple's marriage appeared to be improving lately. One relative noticed they were holding hands again, something she hadn't seen since their college days. As he watched the movie, Jose Menendez put his feet up on the coffee table and started to doze off. Kitty was seated next to him. The house was equipped with an alarm system, but Jose rarely turned it on. His sons were always setting it off by accident. Besides, he felt safe in Beverly Hills. The French doors behind the couch were closed. Just after 10 p.m., a neighbor, Avril Crom, heard popping sounds like Chinese firecrackers quickly going off in a row. Crom noted the time because she was anxiously waiting for her daughter Jennifer to return at 10:30 from a neighbor's house. Her 12-year-old son, Josh, was watching a TV movie. He wanted to call 911, but his mother didn't think anything of this noise that barely interrupted the crickets' chirping. The idea of gunshots just didn't fit in this neighborhood. But it wasn't firecrackers. 2 people had burst into the Menendez family room through the double doors located off the foyer and begun firing 12-gauge Mossberg shotguns. One of the intruders walked around the back of the couch, put the barrel of the massive gun to the back of Jose's head, and pulled the trigger. Kitty, terror-stricken, turned to find another gun near her mouth. Instinctively, she jumped up and raised a hand to protect herself, but to no avail. A blast catapulted her onto the floor. What transpired in that once welcoming family room was a brutal slaughter of a ferocity rarely seen outside the fields of war. There was blood spatter covering the couch, on the wall, on the wood window louvers, on the coffee table, and throughout the room. Wielding pump-action shotguns, as opposed to automatic weapons, the killers chose to stand in place and methodically pump shell after shell into the helpless couple. 5 blasts hit Jose. In addition to the point-blank shot to his head, he was struck in the chest, upper arm, and left elbow. A through-and-through wound of his left thigh left a gash 3 inches around. In the roboticized language of his autopsy, the brain had been predominantly eviscerated by the explosive decapitation of the gaping gunshot wound. Kitty tried to escape from her attackers, but was found lying on her right side, a few feet away from her husband's feet, her face an unrecognizable gelatinous mass. Every bone in her face was broken. Most of her teeth were shattered. She was ripped apart by 9, possibly 10 shots. One almost severed her right thumb. Her left leg, with a large wound at the knee, was broken and bent at a 45-degree angle. Her right leg was stretched out along the bottom shelf of the coffee table. Kitty's sweatshirt and pants were soaked with blood. Across town in Santa Monica, Perry Berman and Todd Hall left the Taste of L.A. at 10:20 p.m. Erik and Lyle Menendez never arrived. Perry Berman was already in bed when his phone rang 15 minutes later. Lyle Menendez wanted to know why he hadn't been at the food festival. Perry explained he'd waited until almost 10:30 p.m. "What happened to you guys?" he asked. "We got lost," replied Lyle. "We decided to drive downtown because we thought it was on 4th Street in downtown Los Angeles." After realizing they were in the wrong place, said Lyle, the brothers turned around and drove west on the Santa Monica Freeway, arriving at the festival much later than expected. "I feel bad we weren't able to get together, but let's go out during the week," said Perry. Lyle sounded apprehensive. He insisted he had to see Berman right away to discuss his tennis game, as well as his plan to return to Princeton in September. "Fine," said Berman reluctantly. "If it's that important to you, I'll meet you in half an hour at the Cheesecake Factory in Beverly Hills." Berman barely had time to get out of bed before Lyle called back. It would be better, he said, to meet at the Menendez mansion.